Hello there, beauty ravers, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Raven, and this is where I like to rave about beauty. If you would ever so kindly hit that like and subscribe button to become part of my little family here on YouTube, it means so much to me. Now, without further ado, let's jump on in to the video. Hi guys, today we are talking about my favorite fall palettes, and I am so excited for this video because I love fall. It's my favorite season. I love everything spooky, chilly, fun. That's my vibe, okay? I did skip summer, if you're wondering, because I did spring palettes and I just skipped summer because I absolutely cannot stand summer. It's so hot here in Florida. I really couldn't care less about the season, so that is why, if you were wondering. But I love fall, so of course I wanted to share my fall palettes with you. So that's what we're going to do today, and if you do hear a bunch of noise, I am very sorry, but people are painting my house right now and they won't leave. They've been here all day and they just won't leave me alone. So I apologize for that, but let's dive on into it. Now, these palettes are not ranked in any order. I'm just sharing with you my favorite fall palettes in my collection in no particular order. So the first one being my Melt Gemini palette. I love this palette so much. I think it is perfect for this time of year. It has just got the most fall tone vibes in here. The grungy greens with the honey mustard yellows. I just live for this palette. I think it's so beautiful and fitting because I am a Gemini. What's your zodiac sign? I would love to know. I love astrology. But this is just a beautiful autumn palette in my opinion. Next up, we have the Sassy Siennas from Dose of Colors. This has some beautiful terracotta burnt oranges, siennas if you would. Beautiful fall tone in my opinion. I just love these colors all the time, but honestly in fall, that's like orange is like one of my favorite colors for the season. Orange and purple I think are my favorite two shades for fall, but this is just such a cute palette and I love it. It is all matte, so I think it's great with all the special shimmer shades I have in my collection. Makes it fun to play with, but if you don't care for an all matte palette, this is probably not the one for you. Then we have the Ace Beauté Classical Paradise palette. This palette is literally the definition of fall in my opinion. Does this not scream pumpkin patch vibes to you? I think this is so cute, and these autumnal shades are just so perfect. We have the grungy green, we have some berry tones, we have a chocolate brown, an orange. I love this thing and it's beautiful. Then we have the collaboration with Shroud Cosmetics and my favorite YouTuber, Beaut Bean. Just kidding, it's Batty Jean now. She has changed her name recently, and this is the It's Friggin' Bats palette that she did in collaboration with Shroud. I love this so much, and honestly, this is kind of cool because it has her old name on here, so like, nostalgic. In a few years, we're gonna be like, oh my god, that's Batty Jean's palette. Wait, that's Beaut Bean. Remember when her name was Beaut Bean? You know what I mean? We're gonna have that moment and I can't wait for that time. So, but this palette is just the cutest thing. I love this. Honestly, I probably use this palette all year round because this is like my favorite color story ever. Possibly, I don't know. It is definitely one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection, but especially for this time of year. It's all the spooky goodness and I adore it. Then we have another Ace Beauté palette. This is the Vintage Dawn palette, and I love the packaging on this. I think it's very beautiful, but the inside is super autumn. Let me show you. Look at that! Does this not scream autumn to you? I know it does to me. I just think these tones are like perfect for the season, honestly. I love this palette regardless of the season, but specifically for fall. Then we have one that's a little bit more different, a little more jazz to it. That is the Taco palette from Glamlight. I think this is freaking adorable. I know not everyone loves the food themed packaging, but I'm a sucker for it, I will say that. And this palette screams fall in all the right ways. I think it's super cute. A little unconventional for fall, perhaps, but I think it does have the autumn vibes. I mean, I don't think this palette was intended to be a fall palette in any sense of the matter, but I think it came to be that. I love the greens, I love the browns, I love the reds, and the shimmers are gorgeous. The mattes perform beautifully. I love Glamlight's formula. I love all the palettes I'm talking about today, but I just think this is adorable, honestly. Then we have a newer palette that I love so much. I've already done 4 looks in a review and a first impressions with it. That is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. This thing is gorgeous, okay? It is more of a neutral palette than anything, but it's got these vampy reds and plums that I think really bring the autumn vibe in a bit of a different way. I love the direction she went with this palette. I think it is just so stunning on the eyes. I seriously love the color story beyond belief. Honestly, every look I did with it did come out similar. I will say you get a very similar plummy eye with it. But every single one I loved with all my heart, and I felt so beautiful in it, and I just love it so much, and I think it is a very fitting fall palette. Then we have another newer palette to my collection, and this is the Makeup Maniacs Boo Thang palette. I do have a video up with this already, and I'm working on a 3 looks plus review with it as we speak. So I don't know if that'll be up before this or what direction I'm going with that, but if it is, I'll link it in the cards. But this palette is super spooky, and I love it for just that. It's got the purples, it's got the oranges, like I said, my 2 favorite fall colors, and it's got a nice beautiful black. It has gorgeous shimmers. I mean, and the highlighters are beautiful too. This one is obviously a little too deep for my skin tone, but it works great as a shimmer, so I'm not even mad about it. And the white one, oh my god, it's gorgeous. It's stunning. Like, it looks so wet on the cheeks. I'm obsessed. This palette just makes me want to carve pumpkins and go on a haunted hayride. I just love this so much. I think the color story is super fun and inspiring, and that is why it is here today. Then I wanted to mention a palette that I do think has been discontinued, but this is the Nomad Berlin Underground palette. Now, this palette I haven't used a ton, but I do think in this season I'll be playing with it a lot more because it does scream fall to me. I think these grungy tones, that's what I'm feeling right now for fall. I think grunge works so well. I love grungy tones all year round, but especially in the fall, I think it's super fitting, and I think this palette does it for me. Now, like I said, I do think that palette has been discontinued. However, Nomad did just come out with a brand new spooky palette for their fall release, so check that out if you're interested. It is beautiful. I decided to skip over it just because I'm really trying to not bring too much into my collection right now. I've been on a low buy the last few months, and I'm trying to stick with it. October is gonna be oh so hard for me because all the fall releases are coming out, and I just want them all. Honestly, I'm probably gonna crack a little bit on that low buy, but that was just one that I decided at the moment I'm gonna skip over, but I might change my mind on that. Let me know your opinions if you guys have seen it. Then we have the Lowest Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld eyeshadow palette. This is super beautiful any time of the year. I mean, honestly, I am a sucker for berry tones mixed with greens like this. I think it is the most beautiful color story. Honestly, one of my favorites. I think it's so fun. It makes me feel like an elf when I wear it. I adore it so much, especially this time of year. Then we have a palette that is geared towards this time of year. It is my Wicked Sisters Cosmetics In Your Dreams palette. I have a video with this. It was one of my first videos I ever did on YouTube, and I love it. And I think the color story they did a wonderful job with. It is more neutral, but neutral with a twist, which I love. I am a little upset there's 2 pressed glitters in here. Not a big fan of that, but the rest of this palette is so stunning. And there's a black shimmer. For some reason, you don't see that a lot, but I love a black shimmer. It's one of my favorite things to play with. In this palette, I dive into a lot for that specific shade, actually, so definitely had to mention it. It's spooky, and it's fun, and it's all of the fall vibes. Then I have a couple Juvias Place palettes to mention. The first one being the Nubian 2. I think this color story is absolutely phenomenal. I think they did such a good job on this. Again, a little more neutral, but still has some pops of fun colors, and I just think it's super beautiful. I'm not huge on neutrals, even though I have kind of a neutral eye today, but usually I like more colorful things. However, I love when you can incorporate both. That's my favorite thing. And this palette does it for me. It also has that grungy tone again to it, which again I think is very fitting for fall, and I had to mention her. I think she's beautiful. The next palette I'm about to mention I actually used in part of my look today. I also used another palette we're going to talk about here in a second. And yeah, but I used the Nomad palette, and I think she is the most fall fitting palette. This is my favorite Juvias Place palette. If you've seen my ranking of my Juvias Place palettes video, you already know that. But if you haven't, please go check that out. It is on my channel already, and I'll link it in the cards. But this palette is gorgeous, artwork-wise and inside-wise. It's just everything I need it to be. It is so freaking pretty. Look at these tones, again with the grunge. I love the grungy greens, the yellows, the orange. The shimmer in the middle is stunning. I have it on my inner corner highlight today and my brow bone, and it is just a beautiful palette in all. It's, again, my favorite Juvias Place palette, but it's also my favorite, like, fall tone palette. Well, not my favorite. All of these are my favorites, but it's definitely one of them. I just think you can create some beautiful fall looks with this, like I did with this look. I did use, like I said, some other products along with this. I think even on its own, you can create something super fun in fall within this palette, and it's so fun. The last palette I have to mention today is also on my eyes today, and that is the Pinky Rose Cosmetics Runway palette. Now, this palette is quite large for my collection. I usually don't love big eyeshadow palettes, and this one is very big and could have been condensed down quite a bit, honestly, but I love the color story. This screams fall to me, and that's the reason I had to keep it. Also, the pigmentation in here is gorgeous. I love the formula, so I had to keep it. It is mostly mattes. There are a few shimmers in here, but the shimmers they're okay, but the mattes are really what shine in this palette for me. And I think this is a perfect fall palette. You have the orange, you have the yellow, you have the greens, you have the burgundies, and I think that those are some of the most staple fall shades, personally. So I had to mention this, and it's honestly the reason it's in my collection is because it screams fall to me. So I'm definitely going to be dipping into this a lot this season, but honestly I'm going to be dipping into all of these because they all scream to me. It's why they're in the video. It's why they're my favorites. It's why they're here. But that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my fall palettes. I'd love to know what your fall picks are. And did I forget anything? Maybe I need to go grab something. Maybe I already own it, but if not, recommend me your favorite fall palettes so I can keep an eye on them, because I might just have to buy more. Who knows? I know I'm on a low buy, but boy do I love fall. Honestly, it tugs at the heartstrings like no other season, so I might just have to buy more. So anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for me today. I hope that you have a wonderful day and stay beautiful. Mwah.